Blog Talk Radio.
Here on November 5, 2014, 2014. And you know, as recruiters, this is my little speech, as recruiters, we're making judgments of people all the time. But what's behind those judgments? Wouldn't you like to know? Well, I've been reading a book called Split Second Persuasion. Split Second Persuasion by a guy named Kevin Dutton, Dutton, and he says our judgments are, to some extent, based on bias. And not only that, on an inborn bias. You're born with it. You're born prejudiced. Now, I'm going to give you some examples. I'm not just saying that, but you've probably heard all of them before, but you haven't put it together. I'm going to do that for you. Number one, we like good-looking people. They get more signatures on petitions, and when they're out working for a charity, they raise more money. In court, good-looking defendants are less likely to be found guilty, and when they are found guilty, they get a lighter sentence. Yeah! Mark Snyder, ecologist at the University of Minnesota, gave young men pictures, listen to this, of girl students and had them speak to them on the phone to help them with homework. The guys who got the good-looking pictures, they were nicer and they were more helpful. And there's a lesson there for us. Remember, they were on the phone. They saw a picture before they called. When you take a picture for LinkedIn, you should make sure it's from your best angle. Everyone has a good angle that makes them look better than they really are, so you might as well take advantage of it. Why not? Example number two, another psychologist, Jeff Miller, he divided 5,300, remember that, 5,300 lap dancers into three groups, according to whether they were ovulating, menstruating, or somewhere in between. In 5 hours of work, the women who were ovulating got a lot more tips. The ones who were in between, they were next. And the ones who were menstruating, they made the least money. Obviously, something in the way they looked or acted affected the men differently. So if you're a man interviewing a woman, there may be more to your opinion than you think. Remember that, okay? Now, example number three, I'm going on a little longer today. This is very important stuff, hey? Women like pictures of men's faces best when the lines are smoothed out and soft. These guys, these psychologists, they'll take a man's face on a photo, they'll Photoshop it so it looks a little feminized. That's their word, not mine, and that's what the women like best, except when they're ovulating. Then they like the more rugged look, the harder line. So if you're a female recruiter interviewing men, does that mean you have to watch yourself? I have an answer to that, but I don't have time to give it to you here. I'll tell you on the show. Example number four, people are programmed to like baby faces. Even babies, this is amazing. Even babies look at pictures of babies longer than they do of pictures of older children or adults. And amazing but true, the same is true for monkeys. Monkeys like pictures of babies. Your brain gives you a chemical bath, a nice one, when you're looking at baby pictures, you know? And my guest today has this is a proof to me, she's got such a sweet, innocent face. In her pictures, I never thought she was tough enough to be a guest on the Recruiting Animal Show, and a number of times I turned her down, but I was totally wrong. Jimmy Kimmel had a contest last week. He challenged parents to tell their kids they ate all of their Halloween candy and videotape it. And as soon as my guest heard about that, man, she was all over it. You can see that video. I linked to it from my show page. And what does that prove? It proves that looks are deceiving. It proves that you should focus on someone's qualifications. That's why there's no looks on this show. And Jerry, what show is that?
The Recruiting Animal Show!
Your show today.
I cut a little short. I was in the middle of counting my 20 gauge shells here. I'm going pheasant hunting.
Yeah.
And I was right between like 36 and 38, and you're like, what show is it? And I'm like, 38, do I need to write that down? I was off.
You know
I was
what?
off. I'm
That's
sorry.
not the way you got to focus when you're doing something professional.
I'm preparing to be out of the office next week, and as you know, I am always working, always in the office.
Okay. I'm just glad. I'm glad you had no fridges or stoves to pick up at the Home Depot.
Well, check it out. The stove repair.
Made it here this
the
week.
stove repair guy is going to be here between 12:30 and 1.
Okay, well,
so
see you then. Anyway, looks like you're doing something right with that baby picture on LinkedIn.
I was wondering if you were going to get to that. Dude, I'm way in front, man.
Jerry, anybody who doesn't know him, and that's unbelievable, right?
Oh, they know.
They know Jerry's
me.
got a picture of himself when he was a baby on his LinkedIn photo. I
Taken in 1966,
I'm mad at him
baby.
for everything else. I admire that. That takes guts, and now it turns out it's the right thing to do.
Trendsetter.
Right? Yeah, you are. Okay, Jerry, we've got as our guest today a woman who just won an award from Glassdoor.com. An award,
goodness.
Jerry. She is a somebody. Celinda
Awesome.
Appleby, are you there?
Yes. Hi. How are you?
I'm
Hello.
fine. Well, you don't sound too energetic. What's wrong? Are you nervous?
My God. I'm a little nervous.
Maybe you should try that again, Animal.
I don't know. I spoke to her.
Give her another shot.
To her. I spoke to her on the phone. Celinda Appleby, are you there? Yeah.
Woo!
I am here. Yes.
There you go.
Hello.
Don't choke on me. Listen, let's go right to the song, and then you'll tell us afterwards what the award from Glassdoor. I was going to start off with that. Okay, we're going to do Let Me Roll It to You by Paul McCartney. Do you know that song?
Yes, but I'm not singing.
Okay, so do you know any of the lyrics, or do you just know the chorus?
I know the chorus.
So it's let me roll it to you. Okay, that's all you got to sing. Anybody else? This one's would be really good if somebody else joined us. There's a lot of people on the line. Is there anybody else who's got the guts to say
help.
let me roll it?
Never heard
Let me roll it to you. Anybody?
Roll it.
Okay, I'll go. I'll sing the first line, and then you'll come in, Celinda.
Quick
okay?
update. I've got 42 20-gauge shells.
I'm not interested in your shotgun shells.
You're a little light.
Oh, there's going to be some birds interested in
come
here.
on, it's the song. Don't look. The show's slowing down, Jerry, because of you.
I'm trying
Don't
to pep it up,
more
man.
problems, okay? You caused me enough headaches 2 weeks ago. Dealing with the fallout since then. I don't want to tell that story, so quiet down.
You're dead, man. God.
1, 2, 3. I can't tell you how I feel. My heart is like a wheel. Celinda.
I can't sing. Let
me roll it.
You can't be any worse than that.
I am really bad.
Well,
I cannot do this.
Let me roll it to ya. Celinda.
No, you didn't prep me for this. You didn't tell me about this.
Oh, you know the show.
I
What
know,
about
but I'm
you,
not
Mike?
a singer. I would have
Mike,
did Patron
you don't
shots
have
beforehand.
To be a singer. You've got kids. Do you ever sing to your kids?
No, thankfully no. That's what we use Spotify
Mom.
for.
You're looking bad. First of all, you torture your kids. I don't know how you got the nerve to. If anybody takes a look at at YouTube, she says, "I ate all your candy," and the kid says, "I don't love you anymore," and starts crying. This is who I'm talking to, and she doesn't have the guts to sing. Okay.
No.
That's funny.
No, I don't sing, but you guys, I'll clap. I'll hum.
Tell us about yourself in 30 seconds.
Clap along.
Tell us about yourself in 30 seconds. The fun's over, okay? Tell us about yourself in 30 seconds.
So I've been a recruiter my entire life, and in both agency and corporate settings. I actually became a corporate recruiter once I had babies. I think I was craving stability. The economy tanked, so I didn't want to chase a commission anymore.
I don't understand that. If you're having kids, then you're going to be more flexible if you go as a solo practitioner, as a third-party recruiter, not to go into a company when you're on a rigid schedule.
I've never had the guts to go as a solo practitioner, so I worked in an agency with, I guess it was like 10 other people, and we were doing very boutique staffing. It was executive assistants and marketing, and honestly, when the economy tanked, no one wanted to pay a 30% fee on an executive assistant.
That's why you went corporate, because you couldn't make any money anymore as a third party.
That's one part of it. Yeah, but I also wanted to stay home.
Yeah,
I also really had this
You know what? It's not one part of it. That's the part you didn't tell us, okay? Now,
no, that's a big part of it, but I also wanted to be a mom, and I liked the 9 to 5. When I was a headhunter, I worked like ridiculous hours. I was psycho. I was a very different person before I had twins. I promise.
Okay, I got to tell you something, dear. I do my research. I read an interview with you. You say you spend your whole night looking for cleared security people at nighttime or something like that. You're on the internet. You're not taking care of your kids. Just you can't. Okay.
Kids.
Part of my torturing of my children, I used to put them to bed at 7:30. So that's a lot of free time in the evening. Now it's at 8:30 bedtime. But yeah, I'm a firm believer of early bedtime for children.
Okay. I'm not in children.
I'm not insensitive to moms, Animal.
The show's about. Hi, Jimmy. That said, I got a question for you. The show's about recruiting. Okay, so you went to.
But I don't watch them at night, so I do.
Are you sure it's about recruiting? It's not about strippers and menstrual cycles.
You know what, Mike? You got to. Let's talk about that for a second. I don't believe those things are that powerful. I don't believe if you've got a good-looking man or woman and well-dressed in an interview that you're going to favor them for your position. Does anybody want to argue with me about that?
Of course they do.
Well, don't just say yes.
There's also a beauty quotient. If you're too good-looking, it's actually a negative against you. But people like people who are fit, who are thin, who have a good-looking face, but not too good-looking. People like that. They want to bring you on. There's no question about that, Animal.
You know what? I think the personality counts a lot more. And I have to tell you something. I work on the phone. I don't see these people.
What do you think personality is based off of, though? In the large part, it's based on how you feel, the confidence you have, which being fit, eating right. I mean, there's so much of that.
I know some very good-looking people who aren't that interesting. Okay, for at least to me. They're not lively. They're introverts.
I'll have to agree with Animal on this one. There are some very good-looking people that are duds in real life.
Michael, I'm going to tweet to you and ping you in the tweet from Harvard what they called an implicit assessment test. It's a series of tests done by Harvard researchers that are non-biased that show your internal bias. I consider myself to be very non-biased, and I was shocked at some of my results from these tests. Read about it. Whether you want to believe it in your heart or not, we all have a bias, not just on things like physical attractiveness, but on race, on things we consider to be a man and a woman's job, on how you pronounce the word menstruation. We all have opinions on these things. And I will ping it, and you can take the test. It's not me, man. It's science.
Okay, Jeff Newman, do you think that your judgment is being subverted depending on when the woman you're interviewing, at what point in her menstrual cycle she's at?
Absolutely, because I think there's pheromones being released into the air that are part of that cycle. We are primates. We are animals. Absolutely. What makes us human beings as opposed to monkeys is that
and the monkeys are the same as us. In fact, the monkeys like baby faces. Who else wants to comment on this?
Animal, it's not like it's a 100% thing, but if it's 2% or 10%, that makes a difference. Not to mention that so much of communication is nonverbal that if someone feels good and looks good and you're talking back and forth, you have a better rapport with them. If they're slouching, if they're tired. I mean, you get someone who comes in exhausted who is up all night, they're not going to perform as well is someone who...
That sounds like you're like challenging parents that stay up all night. I feel like parents that stay up all night can still interview really well the next day.
Well, they can, but sometimes parents, the key is it's like if you want something done, give it to a busy person. Parents actually, because they know they don't have a lot of time. So my wife became really efficient after the kids.
This is true.
Until they turned into toddlers. But as
you know
a
what?
toddler,
I
when they were
remember
children,
about,
she had much
I don't
more
know,
efficient.
about 8 years ago, I wrote a posting, don't hire young parents because they're always going to be tired. And that's when John Sumser said I'd reached the bottom of the barrel. Okay, thanks, everybody. So you told us that you moved to the corporate world, Celinda. We're back to you.
Okay.
We moved to the corporate world, and where do you go from there?
So when I joined corporate world, I was doing federal cleared recruiting in the technical space, and I was working for a small government contractor for a while. It was extremely flexible, super awesome as a landing space before I got the job at HP, and I joined HP as one of their
you shouldn't mention your employer after all the talk we just had.
You don't think I should talk about HP? I'm proud of HP.
I don't think
so
you
anyways,
should. You said in one of your interviews, I'm a brand ambassador, something like that. I'm very proud to be with the company. Most people are afraid to come on the Recruiting Animal Show because they don't want to talk about biases and menstrual cycles and stuff like that. Okay, so I just want to protect you. I'm looking out for you. Okay?
No,
Go
I'm
ahead.
okay with it. So I joined HP as a strategic sourcer for our federal sector, and I sat in that role for 2 years. In the midst of being a sourcer for the federal sector, I got super excited about social media, probably slightly behind the curve of some of the power users, like out there, the bullying people. They're better people than me.
We don't need.
But yeah, so then I one quarter I made 9 Twitter hires, and my VP of the America Staffing Organization called me and asked me what this was about, and then I got really involved in training everyone
No, you know
on
what?
sourcing.
I got to tell everybody. I just didn't think it would happen this time, but I actually spoke to Celinda on the phone for the first time on Monday, and she was terrific. She is choking today. She's joking. I'm going to have to fill in the story. She's there working at HP and on, somebody's penthouse office on one of those huge, big office buildings. He's looking at his data, and he sees Celinda Appleby. Who's she? This unknown girl placed 9 people she found on Twitter in 1 quarter. No one else has done that. Bring her to me. That's what happened. You were pulled out of nowhere, and the guy just was totally charmed, and he gave you a big job, a special job. Right?
He did.
Don't you know how to tell a story? Come on,
You're selling it way better than me.
Go back my show, okay?
Okay. Fine. I'm going to step it up here. So anyways, this job opened up to become a digital media leader for the Americas organization. I applied. I got the job 2 years ago, and I've been in the digital media capacity supporting talent attraction for 2 years.
Let me guide you. How did you...
Okay.
This is Jerry's favorite question. Jerry doesn't know what smart is. This girl got a big job because she knew how to place people from Twitter. So we're going to ask her to tell us that. 9 people. Did you source them on Twitter, yes or no?
Yes.
How? What kind of jobs? How did you source them?
Okay, so sales and marketing and a lot of solution architects, again, for the federal sector. And so what I was doing was I'd go into Twitter and I would search, solution architect and our competitor, and then I would send them just a tweet, not even a private message because they obviously weren't following me, and I would say, here's a link to the job I'm recruiting, or how are you? I'm looking for people like you. And I ended up becoming really good friends, in quotation, with some of these individuals who still follow me on Twitter, and they were able to introduce me to people in their networks that eventually became HP employees who were still at HP, actually.
If you were an ugly old white dude like me, that would not be happening.
You think it's a picture?
Jerry, you're a good-looking little baby. Go ahead.
I'm trying to balance between reality and what we're allowed to say on air.
Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm just saying, hey,
true.
You're a pleasant-looking person.
Well, thank you.
You got, hey,
I
why
have
not?
no witty comeback for that. I'm humbled by your thoughts. So, but it worked. It really did work, and it was honestly mainly about networking and.
Now here's
and
a question.
just, talking to people.
Here's a question. Listen to me, okay? Here's a question. These people, Jerry, I didn't think about it, but you've got a nice picture. Maybe Jerry's right. I first thing when you told me that, I wondered, why did they give you referrals? They don't know you. Why did they give you referrals? Is Jerry right? Because you're good looking?
Maybe the picture. Answer? I'm kind of charming on the phone. I clearly charmed you on Monday. So I think my phone skills aren't bad. I don't know. People trust me for some odd reason.
Did they give you the referrals on the phone or on Twitter?
Phone. So I'm a big proponent of following up via phone. So once I make the connection, I want to chat with you on the phone.
Yeah. Okay, so you asked those guys how did they send you? Did you give them your email address? How did you get them to give you the phone number? How did you get in touch with them? Because you found a stranger on Twitter. Then you get them on the phone and, use your feminine wiles to squeeze them for names, okay? So I sent them a private message on Twitter with my LinkedIn profile so they could see I'm legit. I'm a big proponent of making sure all your profiles look exactly the same. As you'll see, my pictures are pretty much consistent across all my profiles. And then I would send them my email. They would reply to me. I was very passive-aggressive, so it wasn't like I'm recruiting you. It was, more networking. And it worked. I mean, people would always call me or they'd give me their email, and then we would chat. Or I'd find their email from LinkedIn some way, somehow. But it was always a phone call where I would sell them on HP, sell them on the project, and again, I never had a direct Twitter hire from someone that I talked to, but they always would refer me to their network. How'd you ask for the referral? Since we're talking about referrals.
I just asked for it. I said it sounds like the timing is not right for you.
I want to know the exact words.
Okay, so the timing is not right for you, but I think that you may know some people. Can I send you some information, or can you share this with your network? I'm very blunt. I just went out and asked for it. I don't like wasting people's time, and I don't know. It worked for me.
Listen to me. So you just sent them stuff, and they passed it on for you. That you didn't say, "Give me the names."
Sometimes they would give me names. Sometimes they would say, so-and-so is looking, and then I would look them up on LinkedIn, and I would ask the person I was talking to if I could use their name, like, Tom told me about you, or, stuff like that.
Okay.
Or sometimes they would introduce me on LinkedIn with that little introduction tool. I don't know. Recruiting falls really natural to me. I could do two things really well. It's recruiting or bartending. Beyond that, everything else is a crapshoot.
Yeah. Okay. I have to switch. I want to ask you a question about being a woman bartender, but I'll have to do that when I run out of other material. Right now,
okay.
I actually to Jimmy, because if Jimmy Durbin is still on, he posted an outrageous tweet the other day that he sourced 38 people off Twitter. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Want to tell us about that? Just don't say yeah. Fill it in, okay?
No, I
You've been
don't.
on before.
No, I don't want to tell you guys how I did that. Are you crazy?
Okay, so don't.
You should.
Oh, you suck.
Why would I tell you? I make a living off this, dude. People remember this is a recruiter's.
Okay,
right?
I got the message. I wouldn't tell either. Okay.
If somebody can't figure out how to find the people they're looking for on Twitter.
But it's all about karma. You share and you learn. Like, I did not become who I am without people sharing, So there's definitely, I learn from people
like
all the
me
time.
Sharing. I totally get it.
He
You're
charges.
welcome.
I forgot. He does training. He does training. If you're charging for the information,
true.
I respect that.
I'm less concerned about the training and more concerned about actually placing people.
Okay. I respect it, Jimmy. You're not the guest. I can't squeeze it out of you. Okay. So you got 9 hires. They gave you a new job. What was the new job? The social media job. What was it?
So it was a digital media lead for the Americas staffing organization.
Okay. So what does that mean?
Basically, at that moment, it meant that I was going to expand our digital or recruitment marketing in the Americas space, so North and South. We didn't have very much of a presence. I think we had just established Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn from a career standpoint. So in the beginning, it was very much strategic and figuring out policies and procedures. It was really boring to what I thought I signed up for because I thought I was just going to tweet all day. But that wasn't quite the job in the beginning.
Yeah.
Eventually that became the job, but it wasn't.
I'm going to tell you guys,
first.
she is really interesting. It's just that she doesn't like being interesting on my show, okay?
It's interesting.
Do you think I'm not being interesting?
Here?
You don't think I'm being interesting?
Not if I wasn't squeezing it out of you. No. Yeah, you're not. You're flat. You sound like you're in an office or a committee room. I'm
not. I'm sitting in my kitchen. Okay, so
No, wait, Celinda. Maybe it's me, okay? Maybe it's me. Does somebody have a question for Celinda that they want to ask her at this point?
I disagree. I thought she's been vibrant on the phone. I met Celinda in person a few weeks ago. She was even more lovely in person. Clearly, not knowing her recruiting style, it's the strength of her personality that makes her successful.
I love you, Jeff. Thank you. Thank you. I'm definitely not flat, but clearly I need to step it up.
I never want to hear. Go on, I'll shut up now. Bye-bye.
Okay.
No, you should go on. You're obviously more interested than me.
So that you did something right in that boring job because you got nominated then for the global role. Is that right?
This is correct. So I'd been in role for almost 8 months or so, and my precedentor got promoted, and I got the opportunity. He nominated me for the global role. And then the global role became a huge beast, and it's been a lot more fun because I have an excellent team that I work with. I have 3 regional leads that...
You know what? Thank them when you get the Academy Award. I don't want you to thank them here, okay?
Well, I'm saying it's not just me by myself anymore, which is awesome.
I didn't expect that I was going to have to push you around. I thought I would just be able to let you talk
but
and not say...
But I like you pushing me around. This is good.
So, you report to the VP of Talent Acquisition. I just want to say what your level is, okay?
That's pretty cool.
And the goal is to help...
Not just some chump. She's real.
Goal is to help the recruiters have marketing communication material, Marcom, online that they can use, right?
Yes. So my job is to humanize the talent acquisition life cycle and make our recruiters net promoters of HP.
You launched a new employer brand. What does that involve?
So as you guys know, as I told you, I was a recruiter. I have zero marketing, zero experience in employer brand, but I joined HP in this role at the right time, and I was involved at the team that was able to roll out a brand new global employer brand, which was so much fun. We got to pick copy and headlines, and all that stuff means nothing to a recruiter because it's still Chinese to me, to be honest with you. But we were able to...
Hey. Don't slur Chinese people on this show, okay?
I mean, it's foreign language. It's foreign language.
You're supposed to say it's Greek to me. It's Greek, okay? They're
Greek?
European. It's okay to make fun of them.
Oh, okay. Well, it's Greek to me. But it was a really great time because we went from a really flat, really boring, product-heavy brand, employer brand, to a more human, very personable. We were changing the way we were recruiting, so we flipped the funnel from executive experience hiring to a more university early career model, and so that helped with the new brand. And
you know what? Listen, I read an article this morning by Miriam Salpeter, Kepi_careers this morning. She interviewed a woman called Jackie Hydock. She's the director of global recruiting at Appleby something or other like that. Appleby Apps. I can't remember the name of the company. But she said things that made me understand what social recruiting really means. It doesn't mean what you were doing before, going out recruiting on people on Twitter. There's not really much of that. That's not why everyone's getting excited. Social recruiting means you set up a website where you show people stuff about your company and they can talk to you if they want to. Essentially, it's like a glorified post and pray. Am I right about that? It's a passive thing. It's not active like you were doing before.
I think it's two-prong. I think from a corporation standpoint, you want to have, a great career site. You want to provide the, employer-branded content. You want to show candidates what it's like to work at your company. Why are you different, right? But I think as a sourcer, as a recruiter, you are being active on social because that's where, that's how you're going to get the word out. That's how you're going to communicate. That's how you're going to differentiate yourself.
You're not recruiting, though. You're talking about how great it is here. Like you got, what did Lori say? Laser Tag Tuesday, something like that. That's what you're doing. You're promoting the fun side of the company. That's not really active recruiting. What you were doing before was so unique, it attracted the attention of the people higher up. But that's not what they really and then they gave you another job. Isn't that funny? You were doing something right, and they gave you a different job. They turned you from an active sourcer into sort of a passive
But
recruiter.
It wasn't easy. They didn't want me to leave my sourcer job. I told you this. It took me 9 interviews to get the digital media role. So no one really wanted me to stop sourcing. Yeah. As a matter of fact, I was a sourcer and digital media for 6 months before finally I was like, I can't do 2 jobs. Pick one for me. And luckily, they agreed to let me do the social media one over sourcing.
Okay. I didn't ask for your sob story, okay? Here's what Jackie Hydock says. She says, Hydock. Some people should change their names. If someone shares one of our jobs with their network, it's a great sign that they would be a positive addition to our team. That's not a great sign to me. Do you agree with her?
You mean like if a candidate shares the job or if it's his employee engagement shares?
Someone comes to their site and starts talking to them and then shares the job with their network and somebody sends a resume in. Just like, you had a referral. That doesn't mean the person's a good candidate. It means they're trying to suck up to you, or it doesn't mean anything, right? Where would she come off saying that?
I would say it's 50-50 for me. I do think that I love it when candidates come on our Facebook page and talk to us, and I do take special note of them and try my best to help them through the application process, or my team does, rather. So I do think that she has some valid points to that, but it is kind of hard to track whether that person shared the resume and where it came from unless they have some sort of super awesome tracking device, and we don't have that. So I wouldn't be able to speak
Here's something else she says. On social media, this turned me off. That reminded me of being in school. On social media, we like to see responsible photos and content from people who take their personal brand seriously. I have to groan when I read that. It's probably true, but, responsible. It means bland, right?
Yeah, it means corporate, for sure. I would have to agree with that one. You don't want to see on your corporate Facebook page, pictures that are, inappropriate to your brand. You have to make sure that it's aligned to your brand. Yeah,
they're boring. Okay, here's another quote from her. We believe that LinkedIn is the best place to judge candidates on who they are. We understand, she's very understanding. We understand that Facebook and Instagram are more personal and we're less likely to take them into consideration. What about you guys? Do you give the people a break on Facebook?
I'm a little shocked she's judging people based on their social media profiles. That we do not do that at HP.
LinkedIn
so we're not judging
is not
anyone.
Really social media. It's a resume.
Well, I'm just saying we're not going to any any social media site and judging any of our candidates. That's extremely not who we are or how we operate. So I am shocked she's putting that out there because that's probably against the law in multiple countries.
Okay, I just want to salute Jimmy Durbin for those 38 people, okay? Just came to mind. I thought he'd want to talk about it. That's why I gave him the opportunity. Okay, now as we recruit, she says, I think we answered this question. As we recruit, we keep in mind that every employee is a brand ambassador. In other words, they don't want any cowboys, right?
Yes. I operate on the same premise. I think every single person in your company is a recruiter. It doesn't matter what role they have or what they do. And so we can call them brand ambassadors. I'm not a big fan of that title, but I know it's really popular now. But I do think that any single person, doesn't matter who it is constantly and can help you recruit with your, your recruiting efforts.
You actually surprised me. What you said, I find that candidates are using very personal email addresses that can paint a picture of inappropriate actions, like beer guzzler on Hotmail. Is that what we're talking about there? Or?
Oh my God! So so when I was a recruiter, I used to get some really shady ones, like very sexually inappropriate ones. And I definitely think that as a candidate, that you should have your first and last name period as your email address. Like you shouldn't get fancy with it.
Okay. Anybody want to talk to Celinda? Anybody want to talk to a bartender? Okay, she's here. Nobody wants to talk. There's lots of people on the show. I'm opening up 212, whoever you are, if you want to say something. Okay, Celinda, am I missing anything? You know, the guy who was on 2 weeks ago had the nerve to say after the show that I didn't give him a chance to raise his issues. Well, why didn't he tell me on the show? Why didn't he tell me on the show? So I'm giving you a chance right now. Is there something that you plan to talk about that we haven't talked about yet?
No. I think you've pushed me hard enough to share. So thank you for that.
I got a question for Celinda. It's Jeff.
Okay.
So
Hi.
I debate with Martin all the time, and I still see the debate in our community all the time. Do you think recruiting is more aligned with the sales aspect of a business or the marketing aspect of a business? And I'll give you mine. I think it's more aligned with sales because we're selling the company idea, we're getting new sales leads when we talk to candidates, and second to that, we're spreading the idea of the brand, if you will.
Right. So I think it could. You can look at it both ways, but I 100% agree with you. The best recruiter or sourcer out there knows how to sell the company, knows how to sell the brand.
You guys are boring the hell out of me. He says it's sales, but describe marketing, okay? And I'm not going to teach you the difference between sales and marketing on this show. I have to tell you something else, Jeff. I don't like it when a guy with an accent like yours tells me how to pronounce words, okay? There you go. I don't forget what was said earlier in the show. I remember, and it's in the back of my mind, just waiting to come back. Okay, Jerry, do you have something to say?
No, I'm just listening, taking notes.
No. I don't want you complaining after. You complain to me that I don't ask the right questions, okay?
I'm sorry.
Here's your chance. Here's your chance. You got this girl. She's done everything. She's been a bartender, she's been an agency recruiter, she's been a corporate recruiter, and now she's a social media guru. Okay? Ask her a question.
No, I'm not a guru. I'm not a guru.
Oh, whatever you are, okay? You got a
guru.
A title like a
I'll
Catholic
fight you for
name.
that.
It's full of you got 5 or 6 words in it. Okay?
Not a guru.
Jerry,
though. No, I don't like
Jerry,
that.
I don't have any questions. I'm listening. I'm enjoying the show.
No strategic questions that you're going to beat me over the head with later on?
No. I mean, no.
Nothing, Jerry?
No. Jerry's mom.
You're going back to the time where you had that multi-million-dollar big biller agency guy, and you were asking him to role play, send me your resume stuff. And
that was a good question because you want to know how a multi-million-dollar biller does that, okay?
No, man, you don't care. I mean, that's pedestrian stuff.
Anybody else wants to talk? If you want to talk, just tell me, okay? Now, there's a guy, he's Canadian, Dan Tapscott. He's very famous, and he wrote an article on LinkedIn. I thought was garbage, and I'm going to just give you some true or false based on what he said. Is that okay, Celinda?
Yes, please.
Were you the only kid in school named Celinda? I've never met anybody else with that name.
I was. They used to call me Cylinder, so you can laugh about that.
That's good. It made me think of the Neil Diamond song, Celinda was mine till the day that I found her. Okay.
What about Celinda Dion?
That's Celine.
That's a little different. It's a little different.
Okay.
Celinda.
How about selling the morning, selling the night?
Hey, Celinda, do you guys use a lot of video interviewing in your process?
So we just signed a contract with HireVue, I guess late last week, and we're about to start using that in pilot form. I'm really excited about the tool, actually.
What's your goal with it?
The goal is actually to minimize travel and also to target early career and university candidates. We're going to roll it out in a couple of different use cases. I was actually really involved in the research of the tool, but no longer involved in the rollout.
You know, Jerry, you're taking me down. Okay, this is the kind of question.
Video interviewing is the way to go, I think.
Hey, everybody, was that a good question?
Yes.
That was a good question.
We're talking to somebody from HP, and I want to know.
$37,000 starting salary, HP.
You know, you asked me if I had any questions.
Yeah,
I
and then
diligently dug one up. I asked the question, and never again.
No, that was a good question, Jerry.
That was a great question.
It was. I approve.
Okay, listen, here's what's on tap.
It's the wave of the future. You can't be an HP without video interviewing solutions.
Okay, well, look, Jerry doesn't believe in video, okay? And Jerry had an example on Facebook today of a person who turned down a company because she doesn't want to have to prepare for a video interview. She wants to talk on the phone, or she'd rather just come over to the office.
She's 3 blocks away in downtown Chicago.
Yeah.
And they want to stick this roadblock in there. Come on over. I mean, jeez.
I think it's just like it's a process. So I think if everyone's doing the video, they can't do special conceptions for the girl that lives 3 blocks away.
Well, that's absurd.
No.
So now you're going to video interview everybody.
Jerry,
I think that's how it's going to be.
Video interviewing also allows you to record what had happened and share it with other people, look it on your tablet, go back to it.
Do you know how I pitched it? I pitched
it
as Netflix of recruiting. So your hiring manager can now Netflix video interviews on a Friday night and select the top 3 candidates to bring into the office or have a phone call with. Like, you're streamlining process here.
Yeah, if you've already gotten the people, it's pretty effective.
Okay.
Yeah, think of all the time it takes to sit and talk with somebody and go through it and get them through security, and you're dragging them out in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
As long as
and
you're
here's the biggest thing.
It's a good idea.
Again, I don't have a use case for it, but again, what I've heard from people, because I talked to a lot of people before we purchased the tool, especially if you're hiring individuals that are still in college, they can do it in the middle of the night. They can do the interview at 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, whenever is convenient to their schedule. They don't have to come in during your standard 8 to 5 hours. So companies have seen an increase in videos or interviews and hires. I can come back after we've used it for 6 months and give some real results, but I'm just basing it on other people's feedback from when we interviewed them.
So are you implying that it would be wise for agency recruiters to have intake interviews standing by so that if somebody's interested in that resume, they can say, here's a video of the interview we conducted?
There's a lot of big companies like Manpower. No, Manpower is using it. A lot of the big, agency names are using video interviewing.
K-Force used to do this with VHS tape.
That's because a salesperson from HireVue came in, gave a presentation, the HR extensive arm, and said, this is the direction things are going. You have to get on board.
But I agree with that.
Now they are.
Well, actually, Alejandro
did this
let me
in
just
2000.
What were you saying?
Alejandro actually said something interesting.
Office.
Who's talking?
Me. I'm talking. Remember the host? Listen, I'll be back to you guys in a sec. Alejandro said something unique. He said that what if agencies, instead of just storing a resume, they interviewed everybody on video and they put it into their database, and when they want to send out a candidate, they got the interview ready to go. Just like Jerry's old recordings
audio.
Of the... Right?
Yeah.
Well,
so
this is true, though. You have to save it in your database. I mean, HireVue integrates with your applicant tracking system.
Yeah, but I've never heard of anybody. I've never heard of a third-party agency that stores video interviews that they could send out any time they want, just like a resume. Never heard of it. That's unique. Congratulations.
We did that.
Well, I think it's cool.
They did that in 2000. It's not new.
At K-Force,
yeah, people have been doing that.
Jim, if you want to talk on
K-Force
the
had
show,
a VCR and a camera, and they would record people and put it on the tape.
Talk into the phone.
They recorded video, put it on a VHS tape, and would send it to managers for just that reason. Long before the technology made it easy.
That's a lot of VHS tapes. I'm going to put those at the warehouse.
There was just too much inventory. And the problem is that every job is different. So unless it's something really simple like counter help or CNC machining it's been around a long time and everybody knows, the candidate's going to be different. Plus, what happens when they take another job? Now you've wasted all that time.
Yeah, it might be wiser to do it for executive
3-minute increments
stuff.
make the big difference.
Targeted toward a particular role, so you have an executive intake perhaps, whereas if you have something lower on the food chain...
You know what? I don't think the candidates would agree to it, but that's
more changeable.
I don't think the candidates would go for it. I don't think they would.
Yeah,
well,
the
isn't that part of your
people
sales?
are really bad at video. They're really bad at video. They're not used to it, so most people don't do it well. Yeah,
it's like taking your picture your driver's license. Okay.
DMV.
Yeah. Okay. So let's move on. I saw a video discussion by Reid Hoffman and Peter Thiel. Now, Reid Hoffman, he's the boss at LinkedIn, right? Or was. He's one of the founders. He said references are much more important than interviews, or Peter Thiel said it. What do you agree with that, Celinda?
I don't know. I don't know about that one.
You check references? Did you?
So,
listen to what he said. He said interviews are just a chemistry check after the references.
So here's the deal. So when I was an agency recruiter, we obviously relied on references. They were part of our package we sold. For 30% of salary, you had to come up with a package to sell. But when I was a sourcer for HP, we obviously used a third-party vendor to do our references. So I haven't done a reference in quite some time. Not going to lie.
So you're gonna beg off that question. Don't want to answer. Okay.
I am. But I also think that it is a chemistry check. And here's the deal with references. So if you're going to do my references, I'm going to give you my best 3 people that are going to speak beautiful things about me, right? I'm not going to give you my 3 managers that I didn't get along with or felt I was combative.
I insist on speaking to managers, and these guys are not trained interviewers. If you use follow-up questions, you can get almost any information you want out of those guys. That's my opinion.
Well, but I think also people give you the best people, though. They're not going to give you someone that's going to provide bad information.
That's what's funny is when they don't. That's part of the process.
Okay.
I think a good recruiter can pull some stuff out.
You can usually catch bad employees because they give names thinking you'll never call.
Yeah, this is true.
Okay.
So I don't know. Do you guys do references? You guys recruit now.
Yeah, don't ask us. You're not interviewing here, okay? Look, there was a guy who posted Jaco Waldenberg or something. I can't remember his name. He's in, I think, Denmark or Holland, and he posted that he's now a certified professional LinkedIn recruiter. I understand there's a course for that.
So they were doing that at Talent Connect a few weeks ago.
Is it worthwhile?
They were certifying classes. I don't know. I obviously didn't take the class myself, so I don't really have any experience.
It's a thing to put on your resume. It has no impact on actually recruiting. It says, do you know how to use LinkedIn Recruiter? The way that LinkedIn tells you to use it.
Do you think that he'll make more money because of having that? Probably not.
No. I'm actually having to go through. I'm going through the process of getting that certification done, and it's exactly as Durbin described it. Can you follow the process that LinkedIn has dictated? You use when using LinkedIn.
How much do they charge?
It's like $200, but the company's paying for it. But it even talks about, there's an entire section, part of the training module that I have to complete that talks about you select this list of 10 or 15 candidates and then click send, basically showing you how to send out a mass in-mail to everybody.
Mm-hmm. Would you pay for it yourself now that you've done it?
I would not pay for it myself. Yes, it is very basic stuff. It's nothing like
Glenn Cathy.
No, nobody would do anything like this.
Okay.
You're a new recruiter. Yes.
Celinda, your buddy, Mike Chavis, is that his name?
Yes. Is he on?
Somebody's put us on, no, he's not on. Somebody put us on hold, okay? Hey, you idiot. You jerk. Yeah. Muzak.
Drunk.
Hey.
Yeah,
hey.
That's right.
Sit down. Boy.
What?
No. Who can that be? I'll have to go through every phone that's on the line and turn it off.
Did this. Turn the music off.
Not 212.
Turn it up.
I heard this.
Is it Jerry? No, I thought Jerry might be there with the.
Come to AutoZone to pick up all your.
I'm here, man. I never make mistakes like this, dude.
I'm almost there. I'm going. It was 210.
I got him.
It was area code 210. Who's that? There's two area code 210s.
That's New Jersey 201.
They're both calling from the same number.
Oh, 210. No, I don't know.
That's me. Baltimore.
I don't know.
No, that's
San Antonio.
This is a question I want to get answered.
210 is San Antonio.
San Antonio, baby.
This is a question I want to get answered. Let it roll, baby. Okay.
I know who that was, and I'd rather not single him out.
Yeah,
no, that was not me. That might have been Kaylin.
No, hold on. Mike Chavis. Mike Chavis. Do I have to say it 10 times? He was recommending.
He's a sourcer at HP. He
said time trade is fantastic, and I want to know what it is and why is it helping him. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so I used to use time trade when I was a sourcer. It's this tool that integrates with your Outlook, and it might integrate with other things. I don't know, but we use Outlook at HP. At the time when I used it, I think it was $60 for an annual contract, and basically you set up your calendar, and it sends out these emails to your candidates. What?
Someone's eating chocolate.
Would everybody please mute?
Sounded to me like the wrapper for a Nature Valley crunchy coconut bar.
Oh, that wasn't me.
How do
I
you
was
know
talking.
that? That is.
My ears. I mean, they've been around.
That's one of them. Time trade. We might be it might be a practical takeaway from the show.
Yeah, no, it's really good. So it's like $60 for the year, and you can set up your calendar to create pointed emails that you're sending to your candidates. You're not going back and forth. You're not like, I'm available at 9. Oops, sorry, 9 o'clock's gone. You sent them a look into your calendar, and they can pick times. It's really cool.
Okay, so it's a shared calendar. It shares your calendar.
You can do that without paying for it.
Could you just not ask somebody, hey, what time can I call you? I mean, is that too old school?
You go back and forth, right? You go back and forth. Sometimes I'll say I'm available.
Your Outlook calendar and let them see your availability and pick a time.
You don't need to automate that.
No, but so the difference with this is, like, for instance, let me give you a use case. So I used to recruit salespeople and IT people, and my IT people were cleared, so I couldn't talk to them until, like, the evening hours when they got out of the skiff. And so I would send them one email that said I was available between 6 and 7 p.m., and here's the time slots, right? And then for my salespeople, I would give them a much more broader view of my calendar because they're on the road all the time. And you could pick and choose depending on the requisition. You could change emails. It was super user-friendly. You can see when they open the email. I don't know. For me, it was a lifesaver. It was definitely awesome for productivity.
Okay, I thought someone was going to challenge you. I guess it's all over. Kathy, do you have anything else to say? Kathy Manis?
I used a similar tool when I was at Sodexo, and it was helpful, but now that I found that I can insert my calendar, that's helpful too, but I think they're both good tools.
But so my beef with inserting your calendar on Outlook is that you're inserting your whole calendar so they can see, like, when I have a doctor's appointment. I don't want them to see what I'm doing.
I think you can choose what you want to, show. It gives you the options.
So and you can choose like a couple hours.
Platform they can pop on.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't think it was that expensive, and I thought it was easier, and it looked prettier, in my opinion. And that way, I'm not sending my Outlook.
It does make a difference. And plus, what if they're not in the Outlook? A lot of times you have problems with that.
That's true.
Okay. I think Jeremy, somebody told us on Facebook that
I use a pointy.
Jeremy Roberts uses something different, but similar. I can't remember the name of it. Show me once.
There
or
are
something.
hundreds of them. There's one called a pointy that I use or used
What's
at
it
some
called?
point. They're a pointy, Appointy. There's lots of them that are out there.
See, isn't that a terrible name, Appointee? I mean, I'll remember it maybe now, but I couldn't figure out how to spell it. Jeremy uses scheduleonce.com. Schedule once. Okay. So why was Mike bragging that he was getting a lot of people signing onto his calendar? Is it like, what's the issue there then?
I guess he's doing a big recruiting push, and he's got a lot of people that are wanting to talk to him, and he's closing them on schedule.
Let's talk about corporate culture. Oh, gee, I want to ask about guys.
You
hitting
hate
on
culture.
Yeah, that's the whole idea. I just want to mention that our friend Lori Rudiman said. Listen to this. A very interesting line. She said, Zappos spends tons of money on marketing and advertising. What does that mean? That its so-called culture isn't really what leads to brand awareness. They're saying it is, but they're spending tons of money the traditional way. Okay? I think she made a good point. I've never seen anybody
But they
else
have such a cool culture, though. You can't even deny it. They just
you know what?
prices
They do
right.
have a cool culture.
They have like what they do over there is really cool. Have you seen their offices? They have a prison
gym. It might be cool for some people, but not everybody.
This is true, but that's the whole point of culture.
It's cool because everybody says it's cool. It's so cool they don't even have jobs on their job site.
That's actually cool.
That's cool.
No, I think they have a cool culture.
Look for people who like rock climbing, who dig Vegas, who are a certain kind of. It really is. They really do make a focus on that. Job posting things is because so many people go, ooh, Zappos. They have a list.
I have so much respect for Jim Durbin, but when his phone drops out, it goes down a notch. I got to tell you.
For a while there,
is the whole
new phone
culture discussion a post Google thing or what? Or has culture always been?
Did anybody else experience the same problem as I did? Zappos somehow got Android to stick their stupid app in all new Droid phones. Did you guys ever see that in your Droid phone?
That's why you need an iPhone.
And you couldn't uninstall it. Seriously.
I
don't know.
I find that hard to believe, Jerry. I would think if you get stock Android devices, it's not going to be there.
I was shocked.
I'm going to look into that.
Check it out.
Check it out.
It makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Okay, well,
but I think you need to invite Stacy to talk about Zappos because that's more her bucket than mine.
She refuses. She refuses to come on the show. Okay, she's not like you. She wants to protect her brand. She knows we'd be talking like this. She wants to protect her brand. She'll go on Jeremy Roberts' show on video, but she won't come here. That's okay. She's still my friend. Okay, now, Celinda, there's 4 minutes left. You're a nice-looking girl. There must have been lots of guys hitting on you when you were a bartender, right?
I think so. That was so long ago, but sure.
Well, it's so long ago. You wrote an article. About it just the other day.
I stopped bartending in like 2000.
Like bartending. You know what?
Yeah, it is.
Recruiting is not like bartending. You can write an article how recruiting is like cutting the grass. Oh, how recruiting is like
No. People have agreed with me on this one, Animal. Recruiting is like bartending. People have agreed. People have come back to me and told me they agree. But no, so I stopped bartending in 2004, but I've always held 2 jobs, and then in 2004, I guess I felt that I didn't need 2 jobs anymore. But yeah, I guess people hit on me. I get hit on in the grocery store now. I don't know. I don't know how that's relevant to recruiting.
I already set you up for the okay.
I know you wanted me to say that.
No, I didn't want you to say that. How do you get rid of them? How do you turn them off? Since
what grocery store?
I've always been in a relationship, so I always just say I have a boyfriend, which is the best classic line.
And when you want to turn off a candidate, then you can't use the parallel line, right? So recruiting isn't like bartending.
Yes. It is.
What do you say?
You say we've identified another candidate, right?
I've got a better candidate.
We've identified another candidate, and you tell them that. You tell your candidates that they're no longer in the selection process. And if you're a good recruiter, you're going to tell them why.
No? Really?
What's that got to do with bartending?
Last thing.
Because he's saying that when you reject someone as a bartender, you're not going to tell them why, or you're not. And I think it's the same thing. I mean, obviously you're going to approach it a little differently, but feelings are still involved.
Okay, so how do
I think it's time for me to stretch.
Give me an example. But this is the very last thing on the show. Give me an example of a time when you told a candidate why he or she was not selected.
Okay, so I've told people they weren't selected because someone else had more experience in them, or I'm really pointed. If the manager says, you know what, I really like them, but their networking skills are really low, I would say that because that way they can go back and fix it and maybe come back to us in a year once they've gotten more training.
Skills, or they were a drip, or, what if the manager came back? This is a real story.
Okay, here's a good one for you. I had a candidate once. She was interviewing for the executive assistant of the CEO. This woman had purple lipstick on and a whole ton of smelly perfume. I didn't know that. She went to the interview. The CEO called me and was like, I cannot hire her based on those two things. And I told her that, obviously very kindly, as I would tell my child something. But I told her, I said, you know what? Like, you need to tone it down. This is a corporation. And next time, don't wear perfume. People are sensitive to smells.
Yeah, okay, you know what?
Especially patchouli oil.
Oh, God, yes.
Well, I don't want to say who, okay? I don't want to say who. But
I love patchouli.
A certain family member is now fallen in love with patchouli oil. I'm going to have to ask him, don't sit on my furniture, please. You can't get it off for months. It disgusts me.
Yeah. It's strong, yes.
Nasty.
Well, all oil. I mean, they can.
So clearly, you wouldn't hire someone that smelled like that for your company.
You know what?
Right.
I got to tell you something.
I do. I wouldn't
you know what?
It.
Yeah, okay, but those things are different because she can wipe off her lipstick. She can stop wearing perfume.
Oh, you
it's
wanted
not
me
like,
to be pointed.
No,
if
the hiring manager said, Celinda, I'd blow my brains out if I had to listen to that voice all day. That's different. That's something she can't get rid of, okay?
Well, that's something a little
Canadians
different.
are so violent.
That's a little
I've
different.
been told
You're right.
that. Okay, that's a real story. Celinda, it's been so wonderful having you. I hope you come back again. But I got to tell you, we're going to go to Jerry's show, and you're not allowed to, Linda. Okay.
I'm going to hang out
Thanks,
now.
everybody. Goodbye.
Thank you.
All right. Who wants to say anything?
That was a fun show.
It was a good show, I thought.
I'm not sure what we learned, but it was fun.
Yeah, maybe we didn't learn anything,
And that's okay.
It is okay. I think.
Do you guys know how healthy HP is right now?
Healthy?
Well, they just split the two different companies.
Yep.
So what did they split? What's the other half of the company then?
What is it? HP Home and what is it? I'm not sure if they split into two core functions. Actually split. I mean,
okay. Kathy, we need
I had a question I was dying to ask.
We need an update.
Oh, yeah. I mean, okay, I told her that, it was not a good idea to show up. I used your wording, Jerry.
That was Alex.
No, I used your wording about the concern over the travel.
What'd she say?
And did any of that, I thought that was taken care of, and has any of it come back? And she said that it had. And so I did exactly what I said I was going to do. I told her, well, look, why don't you not, withdraw from the interview day on Friday. They want people only that will travel, commit to travel 80 to 100% of the time. Doesn't mean you're going to, but you have to be willing to. When you're in a space where you feel that, because she loves the company, she wants the company.
Was she hoping? And because I know that this happens sometimes. Was she hoping?
Well, I end up looking bad, Jerry, at the end of it.
No, you won't. You won't. No, don't worry about it. You're doing your job. But was she hoping that somewhere during the process?
And she said, and she copied me, and she said, I really appreciated, speaking with you and Kathy. However, I just can't travel at this time. Well, at the very beginning, I vetted her about that. Mm-hmm. So I look like I didn't vet her.
No. Mm-hmm. See, I firmly believe that sometimes candidates think, hey, they'll just say whatever, to get past this recruiter person.
Right.
And they're going to blow them away. Mm-hmm. And get them to change some stuff to fit their needs.
She had that attitude. She really did. She
exactly.
Yeah. She thought she would sell herself.
And said she had, all these different offers coming in. We actually expedited the interview the interview format for her because she was entertaining other offers. And, I ended up looking like an idiot. But
I don't think you do.
Well, I didn't want her to show up and say,
we can't blame ourselves for everything.
I just I don't run across candidates like this very often.
Yeah, they're 1 in 100. But once
remember,
you spot...
candidates lie and clients lie.
Yeah.
You can't take it personally.
How did she take it?
The same thing.
You have to go with your instinct on stuff, and that's what you're paid to do, I believe. Not so much
that's true, and I did.
Wash every interview, but when you say, hey, my professional experience tells me that this is now in the waste of time category, I think people respect that,
I had a guy who got his offer letter.
I mean, I could have sat and not said a word, but I pulled it yesterday. So
good deal. Good deal.
But I think I have a hire that's going to help
pulling it is better. It's always hard to do. You're like, man, am I screwing this up? But it's just our business. It's just our business.
Well, let me ask you something regarding our business and what you guys think. I have a close friend who did work at HP, went to a startup company, wasn't real happy there. All of a sudden, HP called him like this week and wanted him back. So he goes to the startup company, tells them that, and what does he do but accept a counteroffer from the startup company that he was unhappy with? Do you think that he has a chance in hell of ever going back to HP?
Well, did he accept it?
No.
He pissed the manager off, and then he.
Does he have a chance in hell of working with you again is the question.
Oh, no. He didn't work with me. He's someone I know that did this.
I see. I don't know. I mean, he shot himself in the foot.
I don't know if he just told HP.
He's a liar. That's the problem.
I don't know if he's a liar. We don't know that. HP wanted him back, and he went to his employer and said, hey, man, HP wants me to go back. I'd rather stay here, but, can we change things a little bit? I don't think that he wasted HP's time. And as long as he told HP, hey, now's just not the right time for me, if he ended up using that to his advantage or leverage.
Once you've generated paperwork, you can't say no. No one forgets paperwork. And his manager took him back, which was a good sign. If he just did it, you just talked to him, that's fine. But the offer was generated, that's not
he took him back. The startup company took him back and gave him a hell of a lot of more money. I mean, so much so that I don't think the startup can afford him for that long. I don't know. I don't have a good feeling about it.
Yeah.
But I just wonder what you guys thought.
That isn't.
I agree with what Jim just said about once they make an actual offer, they don't want to get rebuffed. I think that'll leave a lasting.
Because then it's personal.
Yeah.
I tell the candidate I want you to accept before we write that, because once we write it, it's in stone.
Well, he worked for HP before and left them, and then they called him to come back.
And now HR knows that if they generated an offer and HP knows now, he's in their system. He's not getting another job from them.
I don't think we know how far it went with HP, though, the second time around, though. Was it just he ran into his old boss at the bar and he said, hey, man, if you went back in here, there's some stuff going on. We could make it happen for you.
Sure we do. We know exactly what happened. He let it go along, and then he went back to the startup to tell them they were leaving and they did more. There's no way he went to the startup without having a secure offer. Because HP can take 3 months to hire sometimes.
Did he go to the startup?
You know what he did. You've been around. You know.
Did he go to the startup and resign, or did he go to the startup and say, "Hey, HP keeps bugging me"?
Yeah, I think he did that, Jerry.
He played him.
I know, and he's sitting there thinking he's going to make this money for years and years, and they're probably looking right now to replace him.
3 months. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Get this product out the door. Let me get my next round of funding, and then you're gone. Yeah.
That's what I figured. Too bad.
Hey, keep us posted on that one. It would be interesting to see if that thing, that move actually blows up.
It's my husband's son. I can't believe he did
it.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, make sure you clean out the spare bedroom.
Yeah.
But
well,
Jerry,
hey,
thank you, because your wording, I loved how you worded it on Facebook, and that's how I used a lot of your wording. So
now, normally I charge $350 an hour.
I know.
By the vowel.
$350 to $375, depending. I mean, right in there.
Okay, so anyway, I thought it was a great show. I think Celinda did great, and it was entertaining. Again, I wish he would have let her get into some more nitty-gritty, because she was pretty...
He doesn't. He doesn't really... I don't believe Animal just really has a program laid out for very successful people at the upper end of the food chain. Now, I know he's probably going to jump on here and say, well, then why didn't you ask any questions? Well, I did. And the one question that I did ask, he thought was stupid. I thought it was relevant.
That's the same question he always asks, though.
And Maureen, why didn't you ask anything? You always ask great questions. You're always very pointed.
You didn't whisper at all today, Maureen.
She just did.
I had
making up.
Yeah, that's why I heard her.
Hey, you guys want to know the secret to sourcing Twitter now that most people are off the line? It's pretty simple.
What?
Hashtag.
Is
It's hashtag for events. I mean, it really is. You go find, if you know the right event that people went to, that's pretty much, if you're trying to dig in, if you're trying to think who was saying it, they're talking to each other, saying, hey, and those people who are talking to others on Twitter are signaling that they are looking for a job.
I did that with
Great to meet you. Those are networking people who will take your call and chat. But you got to pick the right
type of events do organizational change management candidates with IT strategy attend? That's what I want to know.
Well, call one up and ask one.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Okay, so Kathy, lay a score on us for the show.
Okay.
Just one. We're not grading Animal anymore.
Well,
we know he's on the downslide.
Back and everybody's back. I'm going to give it a 90. Would you stop?
Maureen.
I would give it that, a 90. Yeah, I'll go with that.
You are a pushover.
Okay, I'll go with that.
Hey, this is a confidential word from me to you.
Later today.
I let you in the recruiters group, even
I know, thank you.
Even though.
Thank you. Even though. I'll watch my P's and Q's. I'm
starting you off with 2 written warnings in your file already.
Oh, okay.
There is no one. 0 tolerance. Okay, so you liked the show.
Okay. Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was good. But I'll go with a 90. I thought it was good.
Okay. All right, who else?
I was going to give it an 85, but I'm going to be like a pollster and say that now I think maybe it was a 90, and I was just being unfair.
Well, I'll give the 85.
The fundamentals are much different than I thought. There was a 5% bias in my listening, so I'm going to turn around and give that back.
Oh, hey, keep talking, man. I got to go talk to the stove repair guy. Keep it going.
It wasn't the guest. I think Animal was a little bit lost on his probing on some of those topics. So
I think
he was great.
I think he was enamored with her.
He was. I agree.
Was she menstruating? And can you tell that over the phone? Or was she ovulating?
I wanted to ask what he thought of women who
denied it.
I think he was enamored. I think he's enamored with pretty girls.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
He has a different one every month.
Yeah.
It was like
one a month.
Yeah, it's Russell Brand on MSNBC. If you guys have ever seen that clip, it's hysterical. It is so funny. She's flustered. And calls her out on it.
By the way,
not that I ever watched it.
HP Inc. and HP Enterprise.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Right.
That's
a lot of those companies are looking to shed lots of workers, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
Splitting it up changes things around, doesn't look as bad.
Yeah. All right. Well, I got stuff I got to do. So thank you guys. Have a great week.
You didn't give your score.
Yeah, I called you earlier. I said 85. Animal fell down a little bit, I thought. The guess was great, though.
I would have changed mine back to 85. The last-minute returns have changed my mind. It was my original gut. I should have stuck with it rather than being moved by the herd, so I'm going to go back to 85.
Okay, we'll be the 85 contingent. Yes, Maureen, I called you. Call me back when you get an opportunity. I'll talk to you guys later. See you next week.
All right. Are we finished now? Are we all hanging out?
Yeah, Jerry's going to come back to nothing.
Okay, we'll see you later. See you next week.
Okay, I'll see you on